Hey, what's up, guys? Second Lieutenant Christopher here once again. I wanted to make this video today for you guys. Not really as a lesson, but I guess you can count it as our third lesson. But it's more of a prep. For all future candidates and current candidates. Course material may vary, but this is kind of going to be a prep class for what we have going on tomorrow within the regimental medical battalion. So coming up tomorrow at I think 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, we have day one of EFMB testing, and then on the 31st, which would be Friday, um, we're gonna have EFMB day two testing. So EFBM, EFMB is for those of you who don't know, it's the Expert Field Medical Badge. Essentially, if you've heard of EIB, the Expert Infantry Badge, it's the same thing, but the medical side. Um, it's overall a skills course. It tests your knowledge. It tests, how not only how much do you know, but how well can you perform these tasks, in succession, following a sequence of events or certain scenarios you may be placed in. Um, these things can also not only involve task and knowledge checks, but it's also verbal. You might be asked a series or a set of questions. It all really depends on the graders at hand during the course. But basically today I want to cover a couple things that will benefit you, such as what we have coming up on ours. We have, tactical field care, TACEVAC, and then I believe they have land nav listed. So, show you how to do land nav the old school way, how to, plot your point and be able to get you close enough and down within that. So, let me go ahead and pull this up. So like I said, EFMB is coming up tomorrow, 7 p.m. You have to be present for both testing days. For those of you who are interested in attending, I believe last time in the past they ran it. Anybody could attend. You can come out, test your knowledge, but you are not going to receive your EFMB unless you hold a medical position in our battalion. But I believe we've given the opportunity for those interested to come out and try out. I will be there. I will be testing on it. I do not have mine yet, but all this information I'm giving to you is knowledge that I can verify as an officer that is correct, and it's directly pulled from the Regimental Medical Battalion Discord. We have a cheat sheet section where I'll get some of this information from, and then the land nav portion of plotting grids comes from IRL knowledge and my time I've spent in the Army active and in the reserve component. So, anyways, we'll dive right into it. So first, I just want to get you guys broken down on some land nav real quick. So this first section is going to be our land nav section. So, right, we can't see our point on the map. So a thing, guys, that they like to call this right here, right? You're not going to be able to see yourself on the map unless you have something turned on. And if you do, I don't know how to do it personally, but anyways, the good thing about ARMA is it already gives you the 6-digit grid. But we're going to do something now they call terrain association. Essentially, terrain association is being somewhere, not knowing where you are, right? Where we are right now. It's like, okay, I know I'm at the airport. I have a general consensus of where I am because I just spawned in. And then I can take a look around, right? Got this giant hangar building, runway, got some hills to the west, all that good stuff. So, if I open up my map, you can kind of see, the hills and I believe it's called topography. I I don't know. I'm not no, you know, major of maps or anything, but I believe it's something like that. It's the style of map that shows you the hills and the contour lines and something like that. So, you know, we can go into, you know, the 5 major terrain features and all that. We might cover that at a later date, but for right now, for land nav, it's kind of irrelevant. So, like I said, here we can clearly see, right? What building is this? Okay. Look, they even have the fences sketched on here, right? Okay, there's a wall. Here's a little walkway, hangar. And then if we get out of our map, we take a look. Oh, look, there's the little walkway. There's the fences they have sketched. And here's the giant hangar. So, we are essentially, let's have a look, kind of on this line right before the grass. So we're right about right here. So on your map, right, so this grid varies based on how far you are zoomed out, and this is how it pulls it. So as you can see right here, if you go down here to the bottom, we're 048117, right? So automatically gives you a six digit, which is extremely helpful when it comes to land nav and whatnot. Normally on a map, you're not going to have the 6 digit. Speaking from an IRL instance, you're only going to have that 4 digit. So what you're going to do is you're going to go into this. So if you had a 4 digit, for instance, it would be the exact same, right? So let's just do 0411, right? So remove the last couple numbers. And then you would just track it, 04, yada, yada, yada. And this map, so it's kind of hard to do it because the map's a little different. So, yeah. So if you do it like this, right? This map is way zoomed out. But you just take 0411, right? And it's like, okay, we're in here. And then this is where you would bring this protractor into work, right? So it's kind of, so if we're like right here, guys, right? Here's our hangar building. Here's this. I'll show you guys how to make it smaller here in a minute and how we'll do it the exact same. So just for reference, a 6-digit grid is going to get you within 100 meters of something, and a 8-digit grid is going to get you within 10 meters. And then, you know, if you go into the 10-digit, so on, so on. It gets larger and smaller, you know. The less numbers you have, the bigger it is. But anyways, you're going to line this up, right? So here we are, 0411. Your protractor is going to line up right here on the edge, right? And we're going to drag this down the line here all the way until you kind of have this beacon or this line kind of lined up where we are. The good thing about ARMA is you don't have to plot a direction. You have to travel really and draw lines and get your, you know, you need to get an azimuth, but it's a lot easier in the game sense, if that makes sense. But anyways, we're pretty much lined up here. Okay, so if we count these, so it's about, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's 4. So we're one. So let's see. So 4. So 8, 4. So right here, or excuse me. So as you guys can see me maneuvering my thing around. So so now if you imagine we're at 0411. And I'm talking about in the big sense right here, right? That's us. So 0411. And if we drag up here, I just counted, we drug this across. You want this to be lined up where you are. So now we have 0484. And how you know this is right, because now look, I drag this up here. And look, it says 048117, right? So ARMA automatically gives us the 6 digits. So now we have 084. And then if we count this up, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? We're just kind of guessing. So we're 0484 1177. Probably, or, well, hold on. Yeah, 77. So 084 1177. So if we, and then let's do this. 0484 1177. Perfect, right? Now, that's how you guys can do the land nav, right? You can do it zoomed out like that accurately. That's going to get you pretty on point. So as you can see, you're like, looking at it like that, you're like, oh shit, I'm off. No, you're not. Just zoom in a little bit, right? And I mean, right, we're probably like over here. I would say we're probably like right here, but our point's here. That's that 8-digit, guys. 10 meters. So now I'm in a position where I'm like, oh shit, okay. Now I know my point's somewhere right here. And you can do it like this. I'm just saying, if you do it like this, guys, you're going to have an extremely hard time. I'm not sure how they're going to do it. If they're smart, what they'll do is they'll give you all your points first. And I don't know if we have the option to write on that map, it'll make things way easier. But essentially, let's see here. So I'll show you guys how to, let's say, I'll show you guys how to get an azimuth real quick. So we'll just do custom marker, place. Alright, let's say you're here. Your second point is here. Sure, you can travel that way, but you might get lost. So, and you just want to be careful about this. Okay, make sure you're kind of centered on that. And then you have to zoom out. Just remember that it's slightly going to shift it north. So, watch its position. It's right about here. So, the bottom of that circle. Right? And then we're going to draw a line. So, just draw a line from your point. And so that's about 243, guys. So what that means, the inner scale is degrees, the outer scale is radians. What do you think degrees means, right? So what did we agree on? We said 243? Yeah, so 243. And if they do it old school, which I'm sure they will, you have your compass at the bottom of your screen as well. So just a heads up, you could use that as well. You don't have to do this, but they might like this, right? It's good to know. So there you go, 243. And then we really don't have a pace count. You can try to get one if you want to be all high speed, but that's it. So 243, and then you just follow that azimuth, and it's going to get you in that general area. So over there. So let me vote to become this game master real quick, and I'll show you guys. Right? So if we're over here, right? Say we traveled, like, oh shit, we're here. 243. Now I'm somewhere probably right over here, so let's see. Terrain Association, there's that little dividend. Looks like we got some hills, cranes, house. And then I'm kind of over here on this little bend. So, I'm somewhere in here. Right? I would say I'm somewhere in here. And if your point's here, up on the hill, you guys just have to terrain associate and then go and find your point. For the most part, you should be able to find your points. I don't know if they'll put down, an intel packet or hide something from you in order to do that. I don't know. But that's essentially how you do the land nav portion, and how you're going to be able to do the EFMB. Now, the last two things that I wanted to cover is a TACEVAC and the TFC. Okay? So, let me go ahead and let me see here. Alright, guys. So, this is pulled directly from our deal. This is probably what they want. You might have to put this into action. But essentially, have a notepad ready when you're doing this. So, 3 phases of Triple C, right? Care under fire, tactical, field care, if I remember correctly, and then tactical evacuation, all that good stuff. So, it might cover care under fire, I don't know, but it's important to know. So, guys, you have to win the gunfight before you can treat people. So, return fire, take cover. Direct the casualty. You got to yell at him. You got to talk to him, right, while you're returning that fire. If the casualty can move, you direct them to move to cover. Hey, man, move to cover, all that. Hey, you good? You good? Hey. You have to communicate with them, whatever you need to do. You're going to keep that casualty from sustaining additional wounds, right? Don't go Rambo, John Wick style. That casualty needs to chill out if they're shot up. They shouldn't be running out in the combat, so minimize the potential risk for them. You got to stop life-threatening external hemorrhaging. So casualties bleeding out from a leg, whatever, major area, you need to stop that. If they can assist themselves in stopping that, they need to, whether that be a tourniquet or whatever. If that casualty didn't already move to cover, you need to move them to cover. And cover, guys, is a hard structure, right? If you're behind a bush, that's considered concealment. If you're behind a concrete building, that's considered cover. So you need to try to find cover and concealment. But cover is fine for care under fire. So this next part, tactical field care, work under cover and concealment, right? This is going to be a big one. I know they're going to fail people on it if they do not say it. You have to say it, guys. I am establishing a security perimeter, right? I'm establishing security, whoever, to the greater, right? Make sure you give them that audible cue or whatever situation we're in tomorrow that you're establishing that security. So, establish the security perimeter and maintain tactical situational awareness. You got to know what's going on. Don't get tunnel vision. Don't get zoned out. If you need to move, you got to move, but you got to treat them. You got to, maintain that security, figure out what's going on. People going to be yelling, talking to you, whatever. Might be more than one person hurt. You need to triage your casualties. So, break down what kind of injuries your casualty has. Start figuring out if they're good, if they're going to be able to maintain, return to the fight, document, all that good stuff. Just, you got to start getting a list in order of what's wrong with them and what to do. You need to assist and treat following the march and pause sequence. So I believe there is a card for that. Let me go ahead and pull this up for you all. Alright, here we go. March. So it's massive hemorrhaging. We've already been over that. You gotta control life-threatening external hemorrhaging. Airway, right? You gotta ensure their airway is clear, it's open. If you need to perform interventions like the head tilt, chin lift, MPA, all that good stuff. We don't have airway, so it kind of gets skipped in Reforger currently. Respiration, right? Got to make sure this person's breathing. They got chest wounds. You're doing chest seals. You're gonna treat tension. Just you need to overall ensure the casualty is breathing. They're getting enough oxygen. Circulation is going to be the C on this. Check for a pulse, signs of shock. Managing circulation. You're going to treat the casualty for shock, hypothermia if necessary. Establish an IV line, saline, whatever if you need to. And then the H on that's going to be hypothermia, head injury. We're going to prevent hypothermia as it impairs blood clotting. Also monitor the casualty for signs of head trauma, such as, decreased consciousness, pupil changes. Got to protect the head from further injury. Start monitoring if they got a TBI, traumatic brain injury. They might be concussed, whatever. So guys, we are limited by that. The march is great to know, but we are limited in game by that. So just remember that. So we need to remember march. We need to remember pause. They're probably going to ask on it. Pause is pain. You're providing early and ongoing pain control and sedation. Whatever that may be. Antibiotics, administer battlefield antibiotics and other necessary medications. That could be, you doing phenylephrine or, I don't know, whatever it may be. You're going to, wounds is the next one on pause. You're going to address non-life-threatening wounds by irrigating, debriding, and dressing them. It's crucial to reassess all previously treated wounds to ensure their initial interventions are still effective. Right? You can go up to people, you can check their injuries, just talk to them, be like, hey man, you good? Yeah, I'm good. Alright. Guys know how to do CLS for the most part. Use your voice. That's the most powerful thing you have. And then with the last one on pause is going to be splinting. Splint fractures as needed and provide spinal protection or eye shields if indicated. There probably is a march pause thing somewhere, you all, but I didn't see it. Going to Google. I have terrible spelling. I totally messed that up. But anyways, medical march pause and the AI overview, completely accurate. Pulls it all up. March in the proper order, pause in the proper order. But anyways, all that information, I've covered today is completely valid. I think we're at about 24 minutes on this video. I just wanted to do a quick run through, a quick touch base. We might be able to get a training course later. I don't know. We'll see. But the RMB is open, guys. Our server is open for you to come train in. I think Wednesday is normally an off day for your platoons. If you're a newer medic, if somehow you see this video way later on in the past, feel free, watch up, enjoy. I got some other ones on the channel. All this knowledge is accurate, and it's not, it's probably not going to change the videos I've done. maybe a major server update might slightly change something, but for the most part, these are accurate. This is SOP doctrine knowledge I'm putting out, and it's more than likely going to stay this way. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to contact me. Once again, Second Lieutenant Christopher, Vanguard Platoon Hellcat Company under Mercy Medical Battalion. And, I hope you guys have enjoyed the rest of your week. Good luck at EFMB tomorrow, or whatever you may be doing, and I will see you all next time. Deuces.